Motion to call this meeting to order. Let's rise, have a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion to deviate from the order of the agenda if so needed.
So moved. I'll second.
A motion's been made and seconded to deviate. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approve the minutes of the 11:5 and 11:19 meetings.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of those two meetings. Are there any additions or corrections? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Set next meeting date. Does the first Wednesday work with everybody? If we keep it that way? 7th Sunday? Yeah. It's just like it stays in your brain then that you've got a meeting on that day of the month always. That works for everybody? 7th of January? 3:30? Okay. Any public comments?
I would like to. I just want to thank everyone for standing by, the staff here in regard to that resolution for the restructure and the retroactivity. I think it's a good thing for everyone all around.
I think your staff owes you a pat on the back because you stuck your head out for them. Good job.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for
Any
the
other
help.
comments? No? Approve the monthly bills and vouchers.
I'm looking them over, I didn't see nothing that really stood out, so I will make a motion to approve the monthly vouchers.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Are there any, Mike, you got any corrections?
No, I have no comments on it. We're gonna make this to order.
We're gonna be out of here by 3:45.
Okay.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Wow. You want to take care of you right away?
Be appreciated.
Because I see the coroner isn't here anyhow.
Probably.
Let's jump down to law enforcement number 1. Discussion regarding courthouse security upgrades by maintenance supervisor Mr. Steve Dresch.
Okay. I kind of mentioned this last month.
Where are you going?
The latest thing that the judge would like to do, and it is being pushed by the Supreme Court. It's still a recommendation, but they're pushing pretty hard on it. And that is to armor the bench areas in both courtrooms. We went and got some pricing for some Kevlar panels that we can cut to fit in-house and attach in the underneath the benches. This will also include the witness box, the court reporters area, and the area where the clerk of court sits in both courtrooms. And we're looking at that. It's anywhere between $18.50 and $21.50, not including the shipping. And so I've included that on that sheet that I handed out to you. The money is available within the courthouse security budget, and I've already gotten permission or approval from the Public Property Committee. I'm looking for approval from this committee.
Pretty much a no-brainer. It's pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the money's there,
Yeah.
the need is there. It's for the safety of the judges, the witnesses, and the,
Everybody.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to follow through.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the new courthouse security upgrade. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I got a question here.
Oh.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about this resolution?
No.
She just got handed to you.
I understand the sheet.
I was just covering the security upgrade that the judge wants to implement in both courtrooms by adding Kevlar panels.
It's number
They're
one.
Kevlar panels that are cut to fit.
Under law
Yeah,
enforcement.
I got all that. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to talk about this one.
We're gonna go to that next, buddy.
Okay,
Well, we've got Mr. Dreyer here.
yeah.
Easy on the mister. Okay, discussion and possible action on resolution ordinance to rescind the resolution 3614 regarding placing 50% of bond money into a fund for security upgrades in the courthouse. I would
guess,
say,
sure.
I'm gonna let you talk,
Sure.
tell us what you told us, what you talked to the
Yeah,
judges last night.
You know, obviously, all of you county board supervisors are aware that this thing has been bouncing back and forth and all around, and it seems to, it's something relatively simple on a committee level, but it seems to take on a life of its own once it hits the county board floor. I understand you're in receipt of a letter from Judge Habeck concerning the resolution that he was surprised by. When I got a copy of the letter, I called the judge and went up and met with him personally yesterday and took him a copy of the resolution. He had not even seen the resolution. He based his letter just upon your agenda. And in speaking with him, I said, you know, it wasn't broken before, and you know, what the resolution is doing is going back to the way that it was previously done, where we normally on an annual basis will budget, and it's always been historically $6,000 a year for courthouse security. And if we don't use it, it carries forward, and that's what's allowed us to...
With no cap.
With no cap, correct. We've never gotten it up, you know, to an astronomical figure. As you can see, that fund had built up with no major expenditures. We'd done littler things, but, you know, the funds had carried forward to when we had a balance at the beginning of this year, $37,000. You can see we spent down about $25,000 of that during this year with all the security upgrades we did, including the detectives remodeling. We did some changes in some card access and things like that for both branches of the court. And I spoke with the judge at length. We had a good chat about it. And we also covered his issue with requesting no taxpayer funding. And I explained to him that, you know, if you were to acquire the funding from the bonds and forfeitures, true, that would not be taxpayer funding, as it were, even though the people paying the bonds and forfeitures are probably taxpayers. But, you know, what that would do is just dip into the general fund, which is funding all sorts of other operational budgets, and require taxpayer monies to fill in that gap. And, you know, his big concern, which I pointed out to him that was covered in the resolution, is that the security committee will now be getting a quarterly update, which is what this is for the December 23rd meeting, you know, showing exactly where we stand with security funding, what items we're purchasing, those kind of issues. And the judge seemed pretty happy with that. I think if he had not been happy, he'd probably be here right now himself.
Yeah, we discussed it at Public Properties yesterday. We all decided that that would be the best way to go, unless we can down the road, we wanna change it, come up with some better language so everybody understands it.
And I suppose that could always be addressed with just a cap or something,
Yeah,
if that's what
right.
it is, or if we wanted to increase it. You know, we spoke, as Ron said, at public property last night, and I kind of looked over at Jerry, who's the only member of public property who sits on the finance committee. I said, now, when it comes time for us budgeting this, you want to cut stuff, don't cut this. You know, we're going to need to maintain that flow so that we can continue security upgrades within the courthouse.
No, Steve doesn't have that $6,000 in his account for next year. So he'll have to put it back in again for 2016,
Correct, sir.
Right.
so.
But there's still,
Don't be surprised.
there's 12,000 left in
There's
the
still 12,
account.
yeah, there's plenty.
So that, I mean, they're gonna be okay.
And we have no
You know.
planned security upgrades.
And the other thing is, I don't know if you mentioned it to them, is that quarterly, you're gonna give them,
The security committee, when it meets quarterly, will always have this updated.
they'll know exactly what's in that account from here on out, which they didn't know before.
And I'll be more than happy to supply it to this committee, as well as I intend on giving it to public property as part of my monthly
I don't
update.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A motion to approve the resolution, or Mike, you got some questions?
Well, everybody has been talking, we have a $50,000 cap already built into this. We did that, isn't that what it says right here?
That was the one that was sent back to you, sir. That's the one that the county board did not take
Yeah,
action
they
on.
sent it back to public safety.
Rich and I both, we made a motion to cap at 50,000.
But they beat it down on the floor though.
Yeah, that's what got pounded down on the
Yeah.
floor.
On the county board floor, right.
Oh, I got the wrong one here.
We sent it back to the two committees and then now we decided to rescind it.
Yeah, somebody made a motion
Start over.
to send it back to Public Safety Committee.
And then you guys decided to rescind it and go back to
Yeah.
where it wasn't broken before.
But we just agreed not to discuss it
Huh?
when they sent it back to us the first time.
That's why we sent it back to public
Correct.
property, or to rescind it and send it back to public property for them to act on, which last night in public property we did act on, which we want to rescind it and leave it the way it was. Leave it alone.
The issue with the way it was before is that they did not know what they had.
They're gonna know that now. He's
Well,
going to
that's-
supply a quorum.
That's what I'm just learning now.
Right, right.
That's in the
That
wording
was-
of the resolution.
Yeah, that's even
It's
in.
right in, it's in a now therefore.
Where is it?
It's down in the now therefore.
I'm trying to find it.
I don't see it.
Right here. The third, or the first, be it further resolved that funds for security be maintained in the building maintenance department budget, that any unused funds for security will be carried forward, and that a balance sheet of the security fund will be provided at all courthouse security committee meetings.
But
That explains it fully.
on the second to the last, be it further resolved that the Public Property Committee will oversee all security upgrades.
Along with
Public safety, it should,
public safety.
yeah, I think that should be changed.
Doesn't say that in here though.
It doesn't say that in there. It just says public property's got the reins.
Well, we got time to change that.
That could be amended on the floor. You know, it's just,
It's better if we have it in there than try to get it amended later.
well, and that's up to you, but then it has to go back to public property, so it won't be able to be
Yeah.
acted on, because public property acted on it as presented. It never they never did come to public safety.
It never
in the
used to
past.
come here, no.
Right. And, you know, it is, to tell you the truth, it's relatively cumbersome for us to even implement something. This is something that we wanted to do in October, but unfortunately, the way that the meetings shifted and changed. Here it is in December's meeting before we're actually getting to do something. And government has a way of making it so cumbersome.
But then going back one step, it's kind of counterproductive that we gotta get a quarterly report and we don't have no say in the upgrades. Right? Am I
That
right
is
or wrong?
to your wish.
Right? I say we don't really have a say. If we get a quarterly report, we want a quarterly report,
Yeah.
but we don't have no say in the upgrades.
No, I think we should.
Well, there's.
What's the sense of having a quarterly report if we don't have it?
You can't do nothing with the money.
Can't do nothing with
We
it?
can, why don't we just amend it then the day this comes forward in December here? We'll amend it
On the board floor,
on the board for
rather than having a special meeting
Right.
before or anything.
And the
We'll
sheriff,
we'll just add to it, be it further resolved that, there we go, now I can see it, that Public Property Committee
Hold it.
and Public Safety Committee will oversee all security upgrades. Simple as that.
I don't have a problem with it. And just so you guys are aware, where it does say that the reports will be going to the Security Committee, which is the committee that's normally taken action on these in the past, the sheriff does sit on the Security Committee, as well as Joe usually comes to those. So there's always representation from law enforcement at the Security Committee meetings.
That's good.
He's referring to Joe Newmeyer,
Yeah.
assigned to the courthouse security.
Little Joe? Little Joe. I know Little Joe. So we good with her? So now then, I'll make a motion that we go ahead or that we approve the rescinding resolution and go ahead and forward it to the county board, to the next county board meeting.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the resolution and forward it to the county board. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Are you gonna bring the amendment up then at the county board?
Any one of us can.
Okay,
I should be there that day.
you should be there.
If you're not, I'll bring it up.
Okay, one of us will take care of it.
Good.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Me.
One opposed.
Thank you, gentlemen.
One more Kathy. Natalie.
And ladies,
Okay.
I was thanking the committee.
Oh, all right.
Thank you, Steve.
How do we want to jump back here? Just a second here. I gotta mark off what we've done. Okay, the coroner we're not doing, so now we'll go back to Natalie, emergency management. Natalie, you take it.
All right, got my monthly report. Only additions to that is a hazardous materials emergency planning grant application was submitted to the state for a commodity flow study to determine what chemicals are moving through on rail and on the roads, along with a training assessment to find out who's certified for hazmat technician, hazmat operations across law enforcement, fire, public works, and EMS. So we're hoping to get funded on that. If we should find out the next couple weeks. So that's coming down. For reoccurring meetings, the Menominee Shadow Emergency Partnership, we have a tabletop exercise now planned for April 1st to determine how we would all do sheltering in the event we were all impacted. And then I know it was requested I look at the EOC, my proposal. I scheduled a meeting with Steve Dreyer and Steve Hansen. We had a meeting. Basically come back for a KIP, and realistically, the only things I need beyond what they're doing already, 2 additional TVs and data in the table. So it's not that much more, and Steve's supposed to be getting prices on that.
Get some prices and let's get at her.
Steve has been tasked with getting those prices, and I'm waiting to hear back on that. But we did have a meeting, so we're moving forward on that. I'll hopefully get that going. Biggest thing, Code Red, we had 2 more instances in November where Code Red could have been used. I know this committee approved the resolution. I had a meeting with Diane in finance to ask where we could get dollars and was basically told there are none. So every month I keep pulling that resolution off to bring it back because my concern is this committee is going to approve a resolution. It'll get voted down in finance, it'll go to county board floor and it'll die there. And I don't want to lose the opportunity to get code red. But I can't stress enough, we need this program. I just cannot figure out where we can get the dollars to fund it. So, figured until then, every month, you guys can find out every situation where we could have used it.
The sheriff has a pledge that you could have it in his budget.
I'm looking at my budget. Say what?
Our budget's already together.
There's gotta be someplace we can get it
Yeah,
from.
it's called the GF.
GF,
Fund.
General Fund. Gotcha.
So I'm certainly open to ideas. I mean, I had a meeting with Diane, I didn't get anywhere. I know you guys approved that a resolution moved that forward, but we gotta find the dollars.
Natalie, what was the cost again?
20 grand a year.
20,000.
Per year.
It's a reoccurring cost.
It's a recurring, it's not one time shot.
I know, it's not cheap, but it gives us a whole lot more functionality than we have right now. We don't have a way to alert citizens if there's tornado warning, if the special response team's called out and we need to notify citizens. We have no mechanism to do that, and that's concerning. We talked about courthouse security and the standards. Code Red is becoming a standard, and we are falling behind the times. Menominee County can pay for it. There's got to be a way we can. That's my soapbox for today.
Open casino.
Well, the county's actually paying.
Wouldn't the city of Shawano have some funds to participate in this?
The
I mean,
city
they would
itself?
benefit from it too.
They would. I can certainly touch base with the city. I haven't so far, because to me, I was looking at it from the county
Maybe that wouldn't be a dumb idea.
Yeah.
But is the county going to kick in part of it? Because you can't expect the city to cover the county.
If we got the city to kick in part,
Right.
What's part? Give me a percentage.
It's
let's say,
Based on population.
well, but I mean, it would be better probably to get the funding out of the county board than
if they come forward, say they came forward and they were gonna give
10,000.
You want to pay half?
40% even.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk
See
of
if there's a
change.
number if they'll come up with.
But if you got
It's
a code
worth
red,
talking to them.
if you got a code red, it's probably going to be in a populated area.
You know, I mean, we had what was that, tornado warning that flipped in the north. I mean, yes, it's probably going to be in a populated area, not always. I'll reach out to the city. I'll reach out and I'll
It would
report
be
back.
worth to look into.
Reach out and report back to us.
And if they won't, where are we going to get the dollars? You
they
guys are going to
won't,
keep
we're
getting
gonna have
that.
to-
It would be a start though.
It's a start, and I'm going to keep beating the ground.
Even
until we
if
get
they say
this
no,
funding.
we won't get 50, well,
Go ahead, John.
we'll think
What
about
about, I mean, it might be a little cumbersome, but if you take it one step further and try to even go to the townships,
it. Yeah.
you know,
Dumb idea.
I mean, what is
No,
it, 26 townships, I believe, something like that?
I think
Each one of them even coughed up $500.
I think our township would.
And then the villages within some of those townships, I mean, if you got everybody to give you $500 or
That's
so, you
more
get
work.
pretty
We'll give
close
you till the
there.
1st of February.
You
How's
guys are
that?
so generous. You see my monthly report and everything that requires of me?
Oh.
I will start reaching out, and we're going to figure out how to fund this, because we need it.
I'll bring it up at our township. I think our township would go along with it.
And we're it's like 50 cents a person a year. I mean, this is not expensive. On an individual basis, it's not expensive. I know 20 grand for accounting to cover is expensive, but it's worth it.
It might, I mean, if you start getting a little, even if you get a little bit from each township, I mean,
You could almost shame the other ones into following suit.
right, and you're gonna shame the county board into saying, hey, you better pick this up. You
I
know,
think that's a good start, the village and the township.
Okay? I will start beating the ground.
start the city first, though, do the city first.
I'm gonna bug everybody. You guys we're gonna have code red. I told you that.
I want it, I wanna see it.
Okay, so that's all I have for my monthly report, unless you guys have questions.
Anybody got any questions, other questions for her? Okay. Now then, the coroner didn't leave a report, did he? Did he know there was a
We
meeting?
probably should call him. We'll just let you-
We can let it slide till next month, what's the difference?
You want it, or else I can have them page your.
Well, try calling him once and tell him there's a body here. Possible call.
You get a bill for it next month.
Okay. Now we're gonna move back down to number 2, amend the concealed weapon ordinance 1-12 to exclude the Shawano County Fairgrounds. I gotta find
January, 20th day of January.
You did notice the date.
It'll be going to the January county board.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want it at the December meeting. Because by the January meeting, DCP, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Should have met by then and come up with their
yeah.
changes also.
Human Services Board, yeah.
So basically, this has been updated, yeah. What is it is prudent to remove the prohibition against carrying such weapons at the county fairgrounds. Revised and clarified. Yeah. So basically, is to change that. It was originally, when we voted this on the county board floor, I had taken that out of it, except Pam didn't wipe it off the screen, and we voted, and well, now we had to pass it that way. So,
Yeah, you're basically eliminating the third whereas, so there's no reference to the county fair or the fairgrounds, the races.
right.
Well, is it okay to take action? If they're gonna take action later, should we wait, just table?
Well,
it?
no, we need to take our action,
We can take our action, huh?
and then in January,
They'll follow up.
they're gonna follow up, and then it'll be put into one package for the board to vote on in January.
This means you can carry,
This means you can carry at the fairgrounds.
but
Well,
not in
one
the
dumb,
buildings.
one dumb question, Bert, why are you so adamant to let weapons in the fairgrounds?
Because
Because you've got hundreds and maybe 1,000 people there. If you get some crackpot there with a high-powered rifle, one bullet could kill 10
okay,
people.
the person who's got the concealed carry permit, this is who we're talking about. It's legal for them to carry the gun.
If you read the papers,
And I would rather be standing next to 4 people who have concealed carry permits than one person who doesn't have a concealed carry permit and has a gun on him. I would much rather stand next to them other guys. I love guns, trust me. And it's just that during the flea markets, they sell knives, guns, all that stuff is sold there. And if we don't, I mean, then they can't do none of that stuff there either. And that's,
I can see both sides of it, but I can also see the part where even people with concealed weapons, I was in the Marine Corps, I know how to handle weapons.
right,
But you get the average person, I don't care if he's got a concealed weapon or not, but if he starts spraying bullets, even at the bad guy, how many people is he going to shoot? I mean, a high-powered rifle or a pistol can kill 3 people with one bullet. If you got them standing close together. Do you ever see what a 45 will do?
well,
I question this. I can see both. I can see your part. You'd like to stand next to the guy who's got the concealed weapon if some crackpot comes in with a.
right.
But
Who brought it up that it should
there's
be?
2 ways of looking at it.
See, this was originally, when we voted the concealed carry, we voted that it would exclude or include
Yeah.
the sheriff's
By
department.
statute, there's certain buildings that have to be Sheriff's Department, the courthouse.
Sheriff's Department Courthouse, Work Release Center.
Community programs.
Early program, DSS, I believe.
No,
Community programs is included, because I made the motion on that one. Because we had a situation where a lady would bring her son that had problems, and she'd walk right in with a pistol in the room.
oh, well. But anyhow, it was like 4 places that,
County Park, maybe.
no, County Park is not listed because then you couldn't fillet a fish at the County Park skinning station, or
The way that we're defining
Yeah.
it. We're not defining it as a firearm, we're
right.
defining it, yeah.
So that was why those things were left out. And then this was supposed to have been left out also, and it just got screwed up in the court, or in our room when we had a meeting, is what happened. So, because Jerry if you watch the tape, Jerry said, yes, this excludes the fairgrounds. So everybody voted, and I think it passed like 27-3 or something like that. And then all of a sudden we find out later, 3 years later, that, oh no, fairgrounds was never taken out of this. So,
Well, we had the discussion here about the posting at the fairgrounds.
right,
And the discussion was who's authority
authorized.
to do that? And did we ever find out who authorized and who paid for the signs?
The signs got paid for out of office supplies,
From which department?
From the sheriff's
Sheriff's Department.
so they're taken care of.
Did you get your money back?
No.
No,
So they're not taken care of.
they're paid for,
Signs are paid for
yeah,
by the Sheriff Department.
yeah.
It was
So
like 90
that's
bucks.
basically,
And the signs are still up.
no, they're not at the fairgrounds. They're here someplace, I'm assuming somebody's got them. But anyhow. So I'll make the motion to forward the amended ordinance prohibiting the carrying of concealed weapons onto the county board for the January meeting.
So this has nothing to do with community programs?
On to the Human Services Board.
Human Services Board, that's who's gotta get it next?
Yes.
Okay,
I'll second that.
and then they'll make their amendments to what buildings they want,
Oh, okay.
is what it is. A motion's been made and seconded to forward this on to Human Services. All those in favor signify by saying aye,
Why are you forwarding it to Human Services?
because they want,
I think they already have in place, don't they?
This is that,
It's a new department, really.
whatever, this is 9 people, that board.
The new board that we just.
that board,
But since
because
you're
they have
available,
some buildings that they want to tack this on also, that will not be able to carry them. So,
I'm gonna be on that committee, so.
okay. And you're opposed to the resolution?
I think it's a gray area at the fairgrounds. I'm not totally against it, but it's a gray area.
Okay. We gotta sign that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
You didn't call for any names.
everybody's
oh, anybody against, anybody opposed?
You're for it?
Well, I'm gonna agree with Richie on the gray area, so I'll vote no now and then vote on the county for when the
Okay.
time comes.
So how many no's do we have? Because first it was all 8.
Yes.
Got 2 no's and
No, Rich, not a no, he said it's just a gray area.
I'm sorry, that I took that as a no vote then.
Well, here, you get the count when you get the sheet. How's that?
Yeah.
You done traffic court early today?
Yes.
Three yes, 2 no's. Okay, now. To specify situations when patrol lieutenants are entitled to overtime pay, dependent on the availability of the decisions by Carlson Detman regarding exempt, non-exempt employees. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let me just say that the patrol lieutenants are, without doubt, they're exempt employees. And what this resolution clarifies, we've been playing around with this for probably a few months, I think, already at least. And in fact, we're trying to clear up a couple lieutenants that worked in March that are still have not been paid. One's like 5 hours and I forget the other one. And it's pretty clear, I believe, that it's whenever county money is not being used, that they'd be eligible to receive overtime at the patrol sergeant's rate of pay, time and a half rate of pay of a patrol sergeant, not their time and a half. And I'm for it. That's the way it's been. That's the way it's been until the new policy handbook went into effect in, earlier in the year. What we're talking about here is the some of the DOT grants, speed waive, WI waive, clicker ticket for the seatbelts. Village of Cecil, Village of Wittenberg, and the whole chunk grant. That primarily that covers it.
It's all grant funded.
It's all either grant funded or paid for by a municipality, and it's at no cost to the county. In fact, the county makes a little bit of money because we set that rate at
Right.
so many dollars an hour.
Years ago, yeah.
And then we keep adjusting that as pay rates go up. I think we went from 50 to 55. And
They use a squad car?
And it includes the squad.
Oh, that includes the squad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve this.
Oh, and how often does that happen?
Well, actually, it hasn't happened at all since March because of the problem we ran into. But the village of Wittenberg and Ho Chunk, we have several hours a week posted out there. Usually short periods of time, 2 to 3 hours, 4 at the most, maybe for like the village of Wittenberg. Ho Chunk is like 2. Cecil's a couple hours a month. And then the grants are until the money's gone. That's one of them, you just run it till your money's gone. Or they'll either that or they'll have a time frame, from a certain month and day to a certain month and day.
It isn't a whole bunch of hours.
No, and I think they should get paid.
Right. Well, yeah,
Right. That's what we make.
but it's gone over and beyond their duty.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's pretty much.
They're not they're still not gonna get paid for, and we could argue this, but they're not getting paid for court, they're not getting paid to work over their shift to get some paperwork done. It's not any of that, it's just for this extra work that's more or less sign up or contract.
I'll second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve this resolution and forward it to the county board. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5 ayes.
And this will go on to the admin committee, I believe.
Oh, I said the county board, but admin, right?
Yeah, it goes on to admin, I think Monday.
Okay.
Tom, look at it Monday?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if it's on their agenda for sure, but.
They've only got 38 items on there.
No, this is 5.
Yeah, they won't get through that many.
Wasn't that what he told us last night? 38 items?
Twice a day.
No, they need to start their meetings at 4 o'clock at night,
That's right.
because they will get done by 6, 7 o'clock at night. Instead of starting them in the morning and then people want to talk all day.
They were starting at noon, or was it 12?
Look how long ours used to go when they were in the morning.
Because it's like you're gonna go home for lunch.
Except me.
So I have to do point my watch and keep it going.
Oh, look at now, I got here just in time today. Yes, I was.
And see.
Give me the time and location.
Yeah. Actually, I met one by Bonto.
This is on the agenda.
Okay.
Sure. Thanks. Bye.
Good. Discussion and possible action in regard to squad purchases for 2015. Go in the sheet, there it is.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to request that we postpone this until next month so that the new sheriff has an opportunity to look over this and see how he wants to handle his SOS canine.
Handle the SOS canine.
I did have a little bit of, I met with Lieutenant Thorpe and Deputy Pry, and I also talked to John about this. Just briefly though, I don't know a lot about the vehicle budget, but I did have some input on this. And I think it's a pretty decent one. We're gonna save some money on it right away. But hopefully next year I'll have a lot more input into it.
That's what I say, we can do, there's no rush today that we would have to do this, we could do it next month.
Actually, the bids are normally the 1st of January, I think, are the quotes.
Their prices change on a monthly basis, so
Yes.
we would have to either take action on it
The earlier
today.
bids are the
or
cheaper bids.
We have to go back and get new quotes from each of the dealerships and run the risk that pricing goes up. Right now, pricing is down. The prices of the cars are down from what they were last year, so it's a gamble.
One question, I know like the Dodge Charger, that's a rear-wheel drive, is that right?
That is correct. It's the
And
rear wheel
Chevy
drive. not
Impala, the
the
front-wheel drive. What's better in pursuit, the rear-wheel drive or front-wheel drive?
The rear-wheel drive vehicles have traction control on them, so it's not like with the posi traction in the past with the Crown Victorias where they'd be loose in the back end of the car. Generally, the preference of the people on patrol is the Chargers because it's got a little bit wider wheelbase. It's a little more stable for the handling of the vehicle, especially at higher speeds. If you look at the dynamics of a front-wheel drive car, as you're accelerating, it's lifting the traction off of your drive tires versus the rear-wheel drive. As you're accelerating, you're putting that weight shift on the drive tires. You're going to get better traction. Ultimately, that's going to perform better for a pursuit situation.
That's the reason I asked the question, because I do a lot of studying on cars and I worked on a lot of cars.
And the way we have it packaged up now, it's consistent with what we've done in the past few years of spreading the money out among the 3 local dealers when possible. We're going to have the 2 Impalas for administrative and detective use, so that, just like you're saying, that the 3 SUVs that we have proposed And the two Chargers would be more for the patrol purposes, to get those out on the road, and then save some money on the Chevys and use those for administrative purposes. And in general, the Impalas don't hold up as well to the wear and tear of the patrol use. So that's why we've designated those more towards administrative use.
That price on that Impala is pretty hard to believe, you know?
That is pretty cheap.
Yeah, because they run it.
They're lower than the state bid.
Yeah, they're running up into 30,000 for the better ones. Then what is the recommendation? How many?
Our recommendation is 3 of the Ford Interceptor SUVs, 2 of the Dodge Chargers, and then 2 of the Chevrolet Impalas. And then we do have both local pricing from the local dealers with Ford, Shawn Auto Sales, and then Plus Motors, and also the price of the state bid from Ewald. That's the company down in Oconomowoc that normally gets the state bid every year.
Why would you keep that 2007 to trade in later when it's
That's a detective truck.
Vehicle, huh?
That's a detective truck, and in past practice, we've usually put those off till later in the year to keep that money in the budget for a little bit longer. And those we generally have done on just like a local trade for a used truck in most cases.
Have any of the dealers given trade-in?
Shawn Auto Sales doesn't have an interest in doing trade-ins. Whitford, Tim Vanbrook at Whitford didn't have an interest in it. Plus, originally didn't respond. They called me today saying that they'd be willing to look at it. So that's something we can also look at between now and when the vehicles would actually be traded.
Right.
3 to 4 months from now when they start arriving. So
I know they were happy with the one they traded in last year, so.
they called this afternoon at about 2:15 to say that they are going to consider it. So
Okay.
we'll be
They must
arranging
have
that.
an order for something.
Does that price include changing radios over and everything, or?
That is just the vehicle. The install costs are within the operational budget of the department.
Can you tell me the mileage on these vehicles that you want to replace?
These are all current mileages. By the time we get to trade, they'd have about another 15 to 20 on most of them.
15 to 20 what?
15 to 20,000 miles more than what they're currently at. And these mileages are the mileages as of about a month ago. The first one on the list is currently at 103, so that's probably going to be about 123 at the time. Second one on the list is currently at 125. Third one on the list is at 107 currently. Fourth one is at 102 currently as of a month ago. The 2006 Crown Victoria is a little bit low. That one's at 81,000. That one we've been having some maintenance issues, and we've identified that it's an older vehicle, and the maintenance issues are worth getting rid of it before losing resale value.
9 years old.
The 2008 Impalas, we have one of them that is at 104 currently, 104,000, and the other at 112.
So you're saying these vehicles hit 100,000 miles, you're ready to get rid of them?
That's when the maintenance costs start creeping up with the Chevrolets. It seems like around 85,000 is when we start noticing the increase. With the Crown Victorias and the Chargers and the Explorers, it's generally around 100,000 they start creeping up. So,
I guess if I may speak, my vision moving forward would be that patrol would get the SUVs. Just because of the weather and the road conditions, they need to get there safely. People expect them to be there. Administration and investigators, we want to just get them the basic Impalas moving forward. And run the miles up on those, because there is no need, the wear and tear on those will not be as demanding as a patrol vehicle. So we're hoping to eventually save money in the long run by making those changes. Detectives and administration just use the Impalas and use them for a long time, over 100,000 miles, and as far as we can get them out. But I do, for the patrol, I think moving forward, safety-wise, getting them the SUVs, they're very versatile, and they'll be safer in most vehicles, getting to those emergencies that we have to get to.
Very good.
This year, I think what we're doing, my 2012 Dodge Charger, I'm giving to another deputy. We're trying to work that into. I'm going to use an older vehicle, and I think Tom's vehicle, he's going to be keeping that one for a little bit longer. We're going to try and get a little more miles out of that one yet. So we're saving on two vehicles, purchasing two vehicles right there. So we're going to try and do our best to save our money on these vehicles.
Well, Natalie, she's got a request.
Yeah.
Yep. And then there was issues with the SOS, the canine dog, with funding of that also, so I thought this might be an opportunity to.
Yep.
to
And that's
issues.
yep. And hopefully we'll be able to save some money and for other common sense reasons, purposes.
Thank you.
I like the looks of everything so far on this sheet. I don't see any problems with it. Look good to you guys?
I so move replace the vehicles. I know that there's going to be some discussion on the board floor about, 102,000 is not many miles, 123,000 is not many miles in this day and age, but you got to realize that patrol cars idle a lot to keep the radios on and that, right? So you can figure probably 10 to 20% more on mileage.
And some of these squad cars may or may not have been in accidents too. You gotta look at that too. If they've been in previous accidents, I mean.
Are you okay with staying local? Well, bus is kind of a no-brainer because it's actually cheaper to stay local with them, but with the other ones.
I say stay local with all of them.
Yeah, that's been the common.
It's good that Witt put a bid in this year with us. I'm good with it.
Well, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the purchases of the new squad cars. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay. Discussion and possible action in regard to possible lieutenant vacancy.
Me?
You're on, man.
Well, I think you have a letter that was mailed to you. Did everybody get that, like in the last day or two? No. No.
I didn't get no mail yesterday. My mailman, I think, was well, I don't know what's going on.
You can leave if you want, you don't have to, if you want to, you got some. You got
Did
some.
you get one or not?
Yeah, I got it.
You didn't get one either?
I got one.
I know what to do with it.
We want to take and do a refill. We've been noticed that one of our lieutenants is going to be leaving. And when Tom actually filled out the paperwork to do the refill originally came in at the bottom grade and that's in grade M. Now in January when we start with the Carlson Detman wage study. That, is like $2.50, a little more than $2.50 an hour less than what a patrol sergeant is being paid right now. So, that don't work so well.
No.
And I called Barb and talked to her a little bit. And the lieutenant that's leaving is in step 6, I get confused, it's grade M, step 6. And then if a sergeant took it, it would give him a 99-cent raise. And, well, I guess we need the committee to take some, action on what step you would recommend. I don't know, I'm assuming we probably have to still go to admin and get their blessing with it. But we're not gonna be able to, it's not gonna be attractive for anybody to take, they're not gonna take a pay cut and then not get any overtime and then not be able to, sign up for the rate. It's a no-brainer.
Why not?
They can work, they're just not gonna get paid for it. So our two of our lieutenants right now are up in step 7. And like I said, the one that's leaving is in step 6. And what we would like to do is, we're probably a month or two away from even getting somebody in this position. And it's kind of contingent that the lieutenant that's leaving, that he passes his background, passes his psychological and all that stuff. We don't feel he's gonna have a problem passing any of that stuff. So well, we don't wanna lose him. It was Andy, he just left here, and he's got a lot of, a lot of knowledge, a lot of training, a lot of money went into him in the last 14 years that he was with us here.
Why is he leaving?
You'd have to ask him. I don't know exactly. I'm assuming it has to do with money.
But he's going into
Entry-level patrolman at Wapaka, yes.
Wasn't his over to do with the overtime pay too?
Yeah.
He didn't receive.
He's one of them that still hasn't been paid yet.
That's big.
Well, my recommendation would be that when this person, if we can refill the lieutenant position, we start them off in grade M, step 6, and in 6 months after they're in a position, they go up to that step 7.
You feel that would make it attractive, John?
Well, yeah, I think we can get somebody for that, because then all 3 of our lieutenants would be equal. Dick, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's important that the lieutenants are equal. If you read the letter, the responsibilities are tremendous, and to pay them not equally just doesn't seem to make sense to me.
All these lieutenants are on the same hourly wage?
They're yes. Well, we only have 3.
You don't have...
There's 3 lieutenants. There's one on each shift, and one of them is assigned Monday through Friday. So they actually work 2,080 hours a year.
Okay.
And the other 2 are, 2,054, I think, or?
No day shift, it should be one wage, and night shift, don't they usually pay more?
Not here.
No, like a shift differential?
Yeah.
They never did that. Well, maybe they did. Not since I've been here.
Oh, I'm just wondering, because usually they do.
Yeah, some factory work and stuff.
That's in unions. Union workers.
Yeah. But even the lieutenants are not in the union. Our patrol sergeants and patrol deputies are in the union, and it's not in their contract. It's not built in for any shift differential pay.
So what we're really saying is the union contract advanced the salaries at a faster rate than what the county did for their lieutenants, and now we're caught. Is that really what the issue is?
Pretty much, yeah. It's wage compression. They tried to address it. Don't get me wrong, I think the firm of Carlson Detman, I think they did their job. I think they tried to do the best they could, but you're going to see it. You'll probably see it in some other departments, maybe, I presume. I don't know. It just, we're working through an issue in the jail as well.
Okay, under the grade M, step 6, and what would be the salary then?
$29.10,
And then it would go up to,
$29.83.
So then what we're doing is we're gonna put something together to forward to admin that we suggest this is what should be done.
Depending upon what this committee recommends, I'm going to admin on Monday to explain this. And then what I'm assuming we're going to be doing is coming in January with a resolution.
Because I mean, in all actuality, you can't expect a patrolman to come in and take this position and take a $2 hour pay cut.
The only people in this building that will make less than the lieutenant are the top patrolmen. The detectives will make more, everybody else will. So there's absolutely no incentive.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing about this shift, and as I noted in the justification, is the fact that these are where our least tenured staff members fall. They have to have a good coach. They have to have somebody who has a wide array of experiences. They have to have that teacher. So the deeper the pool that we can analyze come January, February for this position, the better off we are.
I will make a motion that we forward our suggestion on to admin that the position should be grade M, step 6, pay scale for new lieutenant hire.
I'll second that.
You're gonna put it in about the 6 months?
6 months
About
to
the
step
6
7?
months? You're gonna hire them at step 6 and then in 6
You
months'
wanna
time?
do that like 6 months later, so sometime in the fall,
Yep.
you know, and then I think that all three of them can cycle and they'll all be the same from
That's
until we
fine.
lose
Add
another
it
one.
on to add it on and read it back to us.
Yeah, because it'd be harder to put it on later, you might as well put it on now.
Got it.
Okay, so I'll have Tony assist me with a resolution and bring that to you in January, then, if that's the outcome of the vote.
Got her?
New lieutenants start at grade M, step 6. And then step 7 after 6 months, and forward the suggestion to admin.
Okay, motion was made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, can I be excused?
You may certainly be excused, sir.
Who wants to get 5,000 maps?
5,000
Be
maps?
back here by 7.
Hey, no problem. Give them the green light.
Blue and red light.
Hey, and you ride with Kunto, you'll get there faster. He passes me. I'm watching this car one day, and I'm looking in my mirror, I'm going, that thing's gonna pass me pretty soon. Lake to golf.
And you were
Probably in hot pursuit.
Yeah. It was like a Friday afternoon. Yeah, you were not. Request. Do my paper when you send this out to me. Do mine in bigger print. Then I can forget my glasses.
I had a spare set of them.
Request for transfer from 1% carryover of funds for purchase of traffic and criminal software interface with Spillman Records System. How's that?
After all that, we're just going to table it at this time.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Okay. Discuss and take possible action on the mine-resistant ambush protective vehicle for special response team.
If you want to take action, you can after the discussion at the last month's meeting. Lieutenant Thorpe did have a contact that he was working through or with on this MRAP. and emailed them, told them just, to put it on hold. It's not on the way, we have never been approved to this point anyhow. But if you wanna take formal action that you're, at this point in time, you don't want to, if you just wanna leave it, trust me, we're not going to get this before January 5th, or,
No, I would.
and I know you trust me, Bruce.
I would, instead of discussing it, I would just make a motion that it doesn't happen in Shawano County, because all the other counties are getting rid of them.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to stop further action on the MRAP vehicle. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? There, how's that?
And it seems like the police departments that do have, and they're getting a lot of heat from the citizens about getting too militarized and all that.
I think they have a place. I think that, maybe once we get the evidence building built and we have a place to store it.
Boy, you're really sure
That's on February's agenda.
February. Okay.
What, the evidence bill?
Yeah.
Oh, you got any bulletproof vests you can borrow?
We're gonna downsize it, I think a little.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're gonna have to prove a need.
Well, there is a need.
There's definitely a need.
There is a need.
Well, there ain't no need for 4,000 square feet.
Like 78 or something.
No, 7,200 was the number.
I can downsize too.
Okay, sheriff's comments.
He left me no notes or directives or anything to bring up.
Okay.
When does the new sheriff take?
January 5th, sir.
January 5th.
When do you get sworn in?
You're already,
You kind of, but I think they'll actually have enough, I don't.
January 5th, I was told I was gonna get sworn in again.
Yeah, probably.
January 5th?
Yep.
so we have
Why wouldn't they do that here on January 7th?
They do it in the morning, like right away on the morning of the 5th. It'll probably be, who's
That's a
on that?
Monday.
Mike,
No, it's always the first Monday.
Can't make
Was
it.
on there.
Susan Krieger, and it's kind of a group thing, the judge.
Yeah, the judge has.
Well, the only other day would be the second, and I think they're gonna be closed on the second, right?
Sheriff's Department's.
That's just how it always is. If you look at it, it always changes. It's always the first Monday in January when those elected, at least on the county level. You look at it, I have some old deputy ID cards from, Bob Schmidt and probably even Randy and that. It fluctuates someplace or whatever that first Monday is.
You were the first one.
That's it.
Yep.
First Monday following the first of the year.
Right.
Following last Sunday.
Yeah, there you go. Motion to adjourn. Any other comments or anything? Nothing? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye. Carried.